This segment of the Alice Stewart Show is brought to you by the Countertop Store, Central Arkansas's premier countertop authority. For custom fabrication and installation of granite, tile, laminate, copper, and more, the Countertop Store, 888-510-4773.
And we're back on the Alice Stewart Show, 7:20 on a Friday morning. And Burger King is moving north of the border and causing a lot of controversy and some talk about the reason behind this. And many are discussing possible changes in Washington as a result of this. And you can see all about this, what this means in Arkansas business. Robert Coon has written a column on this. Have it your way. Robert joins us this morning. Robert, good morning.
Good morning, Alice.
Thanks for joining us. And folks can go to arkansasbusiness.com and see your column here. And this raises the question we've heard quite a lot about. I want you to explain it. This is about a big word called inversions. To explain first off, Burger King recently made the announcement to merge with Canadian donut and coffee chain Tim Hortons, which is delicious. What was the purpose of the merger?
Well, if you ask Burger King, the purpose of the merger is it's a good business decision for them. They've kind of tapped out the U.S. market in a lot of ways. They're looking for ways to grow internationally, and they feel like Canada's a good market for them. And for Tim Horton, kind of the reverse situation. They're very well known in Canada. They have some stores in the U.S., but clearly a lot of growth opportunity in the United States for them. And so if you ask them, the decision to merge is one that benefits both companies from a pure business sense.
Well, when this announcement was made, as you know, they were dogged for many claim that this was an effort by Burger King to avoid taxes.
Yeah, if you ask others, they view this as, well, Burger King just wants to become a Canadian company so they can dodge their tax bill. And there are some tax advantages if Burger King goes the route that it looks like they're going to take, which is inverting and becoming and having a holding company that's located in Canada. But as I kind of say in the piece, to me and to a lot of observers, that is a benefit that they'll see in this, but that's more of the icing on the donut. The business growth that this deal, provides for them is really, the meat of the matter.
And the truth of the matter is that they're still paying taxes on the profits made in America.
That's right. They will continue to pay taxes on those profits. The key thing here is, the United States has an incredibly high corporate tax rate, one of the highest in the world. It becomes the highest in the world when you factor in the average state rate. But not only that, we like to tax all the money that's made from an international corporation's overseas markets if they're a U.S. company. And so not only do we want to tax them for what they earn in the United States, if they're earning money in China and United Kingdom and other places, when they bring that money over here, we tax it even though they've already been taxed by those local countries. And, of leading economic countries, we're one of the only ones that still, try to play that game and take as much as we can get, and that's caused a lot of our problems.
And that's something that you point out may need to be considered, possibly making changes there. The federal corporate tax rate here in America is at 35%, and comparatively speaking with other countries, that's far higher.
It is, and I kind of alluded to this recruiting battle, if you will, in the piece. I mean, it's not uncommon. People like to talk about, hey, states competing with other states for new jobs and recruiting companies, and everybody points to California and says, man, look at the tax environment there. Let's go get some of their companies and move them to Texas or Arizona or other places. That same recruiting effort goes on at the country level. And so you've got countries like Canada, United Kingdom, Ireland, other places, modern countries like the United States that have lowered their corporate tax rate. They have a territorial tax system, which means they're only looking to take their share of profits made in their country. And that puts them on a much more advantageous playing field than it does the United States when it comes to trying to retain jobs and corporate presence.
And you point out in your piece here, and folks can go to arkansasbusiness.com and see Robert's piece. You talk about Congress and the administration talk about and addressing this tax inversion, as they call it, loophole, being intentionally crafted regulations that reduce inversion abuse, but the point to continue to allow market forces to actually drive business growth and address that.
Yeah, right now, the reaction thus far among some has been, well, we need to tighten the screw down a little bit to prevent this from happening, and it's a giant loophole that people are exploiting. And in reality, it's not a loophole. I think about 10 years ago, this was a loophole that people were using when they would, set up a paper corporate holding company in the Cayman Islands or the Bahamas or a place like that, that they really didn't have a business presence in, but it was something they could do under the law to intentionally get away from some tax bills. Congress closed that loophole back in 2004. Since then, the Treasury Department has kind of even tightened the criteria by which folks can undertake this inversion successfully, so that there is a measurement of where your business activity comes from. So, if you're a company and you want to go, domicile in Ireland, you have to have a certain percentage of business activity over there in order for the U.S. to accept that as a discount, I guess, if you will, on your taxes. Some in Congress have said, hey, we need to raise that threshold up, make it even harder. The problem is if you're Burger King and Tim Hortons, for example, and you've got growth opportunity, at some point your market share and where you're making your money is going to shift and change. And if you're always trying to hit a arbitrary number that's established by a government body in order to follow their particular set of rules, that's not really the best deal for your company and your shareholders and your employees, because what you need to be focused on is how you grow and create more jobs and grow, all of the economies that you're involved in.
Well, and it's no secret, businesses are in business to make money, and if they can make this move and help out their bottom line and able to grow and hire more people and keep their costs low, then that just makes smart business sense. So, Robert, with this move by Burger King and possibly others, is this a call for Congress and our government to take a closer look at what some see as outdated and uncompetitive tax structure in America?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that initially looked at this and they listened to some of the sensationalism and say, man, this is a red flag for, what we got to do to, tighten down the rules on corporate America. But, in my view, this is a red flag for, this is really just the beginning of what's going to happen. People and companies alike, they vote with their feet, and people move to other places where things are a better fit. And I think we're going to continue to see this type of thing if we continue to have such a high corporate tax rate and also continue to try to tax profits earned other places, unlike a lot of our competitive countries in the global economy. So.
All right, it has certainly opened up a conversation that needs to be had. Robert Coon, we appreciate you, partner at Impact Management Group and great op-ed at Arkansas Business. Robert, thank you.
Thanks, Alice.
All right, have a great day. And we're going to take a break. When we come back, Arkansas Secretary of State Mark Martin will join us to discuss the growing controversy over voter ID. There has been some legislation on that, and 60 days before midterm elections, it is something certainly to discuss. We'd love to get your thoughts and feedback on that. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, Alice Stewart Show, or Alice Tweet, or Alice Stewart 965. Keep it right here on 96.5 throughout the day. Great lineup. My program, followed by Glenn Beck, Dave Ramsey, Dave Ellswick, Sean Hannity, and Steve Dace right here. This segment of the program brought to you by the Countertop Store, 9817 Maumelle Boulevard. Give them a call at 888-510-4773.